Oh, tomorrow. I know, you're looking at for me. Probably not. I'll probably.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting for February 14th, February 24th. Sorry about that. Thank you. I will call the meeting to order. I'll look for a mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that this meeting be opened at 7 p.m.
All in favor? It's carried. Mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda.
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that the agenda presented to council and dated the 24th day of February 2026 be adopted as prepared.
All in favor? That's carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? I have one myself, item 10A, Castle Home. When we get to that part of the agenda, I will turn the meeting over to Councillor Clark, who will walk through that one piece. I believe I have paper to fill out after.
Yes.
Okay. Adoptions of previous minutes. I will look for a mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor McInnes, that the minutes of the regular council meeting of February 10th, 2026 be adopted as circulated.
All in favor? It's carried. I see we have no presentations or delegations for this evening.
Nope,
And any questions?
none were received.
Moving into staff reports, we have none for this session. And adoption of committee minutes and motions. First, we have the Emergency Services Committee of February 9th. Look for a mover and a seconder for those.
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Clark, whereas the Emergency Services Committee accepted the recommendations of the fire chief to promote Zach Mason to captain, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? It's carried. Moving for Corporate Services Committee.
Nope,
February.
one more for,
Sorry. Oh yeah, so a second mover and a seconder for the fire department, please. Minutes.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, whereas the Emergency Services Committee accepted the recommendations that Ryan Moore and Sklar Monette be hired as members of the Bonfield Volunteer Fire Department, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
Is that Skylar? SKYLAR? Can you just change that?
SKY?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor? Okay. Corporate Services Committee of February 9th, look for a mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark, whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends to council to adopt the 2025 Annual Water Quality Report for the landfill site, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Oh, sorry, questions? Or
No, I
comments?
just want to make a comment that it was a very good, thorough report, and that the ministry attending as well. So I think maybe if you just want to maybe give us a little bit about that.
Sure. We had the MECP attend the landfill site. We did a walkthrough. They did a drone flight. They went through a couple things that they'd like to see. Those included waste and litter plan, some additional cover on the landfill, as well as some other fencing or deterrent to stop scavenging. Other than that, everything else was pretty good and in check. All our reporting, our monitoring stuff, staffing, they were happy with pretty much everything other than those three little things. So I think we did pretty well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions, or comments? All in favor? That's carried. A mover and a seconder for the waste disposal site inspection report.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends to council to adopt the 2026 waste disposal site inspection as prepared by the MOE for the landfill site and the corresponding Public Works Manager report on the inspection outcomes, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
Questions or comments?
That was also a good report.
All in favor? It's carried. And a mover and a seconder for the 10-year capital plan in principle, please.
Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor McInnes, whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends to council to endorse the 10-year capital plan in principle, and further that staff continue to research funding opportunities and best management practices to achieve the plan's outcomes, and further that the committee recommends to council to adopt the plan in principle as presented, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
Questions or comments? All in favor? That's carried. And a mover and a seconder for the capital projects.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, whereas the Corporate Services Committee hereby identified the following capital projects for the 2026 budget, and further that staff prepare and issue requests for proposals for the work plan to be completed as early as possible, working with the successful bidders for the 2026 construction season, Sunnyside Culvert replacement, dig out at Boundary, Trunk Road Hill rehabilitation, surface treatment, Rudder Glen line to McNutt Farmer, gravel applied to Farmer's Line and rehabilitate the corner at Gay Road, cost out sealant treatment for Development Road, line 3 to South Shore Road, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. That was a busy corporate services meeting. Moving into items for council discussion. I don't believe there are any on the agenda for this evening.
Nope.
So we're into resolutions to be considered for adoption, and I have a conflict with the first one, but we'll stay out.
So if I don't have a mover or a second and a second.
You pick.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Featherstone. Whereas the Castle Home Board approved the quarterly capital levy of 48,000.
Yes. Oh,
Sorry. $48,778.81 for actual construction interest costs from October to December 2025. Therefore, be it resolved that council for the Township of Bonnfield authorizes the payment of $14,508.97, representing the township's portion of the interest levy from Castle Home Reserve account.
all in favor or comments and questions? No?
I would just have one comment. On some of this report, you can barely legible. I mean, it's so small printed with all the numbers that you can barely make them out, so.
If you have it on your phone.
You can,
Dan,
yeah,
you
why
Yeah,
not?
well, guess
I
what?
I would
No,
like
No,
to,
that's the phone, people.
yeah. So there is a typo. It is 448,000. So you were kind of right. The actual levy is 448,778 and 71, and 14,508 is our 3.23% of that. So
Okay.
that's, I think you were on the right track there.
Yes, not millions.
No, but
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands though. So, all in favor? Carried.
Yeah. Moving on to 10B, which is a bylaw for cemetery user fees. Look for mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that council for the Township of Bonnfield hereby adopts bylaw 2026-14, being a bylaw to establish user fees for the Mount Pleasant Cemetery as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 24th day of February 2026.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, I'm just, these prices, are they, like, who sets, the BAO kind of sets these and or do we just look at neighboring municipalities to get pricing?
We did, and this was originally brought to council back in 2024. Council had approved the user fees that were set at that time, but because it took so long for the cemetery bylaw to be adopted, that's why this never got the 3rd reading that it should have. So now that they've the BAO approved our bylaw, we passed it at the last council meeting, so now we can adopt the fees at council. But they are on par with other cemeteries in the area.
Okay, thanks.
And that's the conversation that you had at Roma with,
Yes.
with them. So it was
Yes.
good that you could connect with them and that we could finally have the 3rd reading.
Yes.
Well done.
Any questions or comments? All in favor? That's carried. A mover and a seconder for bylaw 2026-15 Rural Ontario Development Program.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark, that council for the Township of Bonnfield hereby adopts bylaw 2026-15, being a bylaw to enter into a funding agreement with the province of Ontario for the completion of an economic development strategy as presented and is considered read 3 times and passes 24th day of February 2026.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? It's carried. Look for mover and a seconder for the report from the planning administrator official plan updates.
Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor Clark, that council accepts this report as a further update regarding the Township of Bonfield's new proposed official plan, and furthermore authorizes an additional budget of up to a maximum of $29,250.31 inclusive of taxes, with this newly quoted amount to be applied towards additional activities identified within the consultant scope change request 005, prepared by J.L. Richards and Associates, that was submitted to the Township of Bonfield on February 17th, 2026.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, so in 2022, we did the official plan and it got sent away
Correct.
and we paid how much then?
Oh,
I think it was.
is that pretty quick? Do you remember? I can't, I don't have the number.
I don't have the exact
A big number.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I think it
and
might have
now
been about
we
the
have to
same.
spend another 29,000.
Yes. Yeah, so I would just say two things. One, unfortunately, our official plan came at the same time as the province of Ontario was making pretty significant changes to development and their planning documents from a provincial standpoint. So because our initial review happened and then these changes happened, now all of a sudden the scope of our official plan has changed significantly. If we're going to find a silver lining into the additional costs is we have determined that this will become an official plan and not a review of the current existing plan. So it will save the township money in the long run, but it's more expensive up front. If we don't have a choice, to be honest, but because we can now actually call this our new official plan and not a renewal, at least we're not having to redo this again in a couple of years or in a
It's
few
good
years.
for
we get
10
10 years.
10 years, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So it's an investment, so for sure. But
great, thanks.
questions or comments? All in favor? That's carried. Moving into the correspondence, see we have A through H of correspondence. Anybody feel the need to go through anything in particular?
I would just like to say congratulations to Cassandra Klooster for completing her AMTCO courses. I think it's a 2-year course and it's pretty intense. It's, I know that I'd come in sometimes and she can't do things because she's studying or busy. So I would just want to say congratulations.
Yeah, it's great.
It's well done.
Congrats to her.
Yep, that's wonderful. Anything else anybody wants to?
Correspondence, I emailed Andre, I'd like to bring forth the town of Perry Sound, school bus safety and Prince Edward County, Protect Our Food Act.
Okay, and sorry, we've just recently changed the process on this. He's emailed, it'll come to the next meeting?
Nope, it'll
It's
be,
just
yeah,
be done.
it's on the motion and,
Make it
Perfect.
Yeah.
Anything else that anybody has referred? Okay, so a mover and a seconder for the correspondence.
moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that council receives the correspondence circulated with the agenda of February 24th, 2026, and further that council supports the following items: the Town of Perry Sound School Bus Safety, Prince Edward County Protect Our Food Act, and further that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the appropriate ministries, the originator of the proposal, and MPP Vic Fideli and or MP Pauline Rochefort.
Questions or comments?
I mean, I just think it's a great thing for school buses to have cameras on their arms and just, people running the lights, they get fined appropriately. And of course, protecting our food, all the farmland that's being developed is, kind of scary at an alarming rate, how fast we're losing farmland.
Absolutely. Anything else? All in favor? That is carried. We have no closed session for this evening. Before I move to the confirmatory bylaw, I see Deputy Chief's here, so welcome again. Thanks for being at the meeting. If you could please pass on our congratulations to the new captain and our
Yes.
thanks and appreciation to the new firefighters. That's great to see in our community, and great job done by you and your team. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else before, let's move to the confirmatory bylaw, new mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that the council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2026-13 to confirm the proceedings of council from February 10th, 2026 to February 24th, 2026, as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 24th day of February, 2026.
All in favor? That's carried. And a mover and a seconder for the adjournment, please.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark, that this meeting be adjourned at 7:19 PM.
All in favor? That's carried. Good night, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you.